Welcome back to Autism Live. Our very next guest is Stephen Clark. He is the host and creator of a podcast called Cyber Timebite Podcast. So, Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hello, how's everyone doing today? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. So we want to know everything about this, and we want to be able to tell people where to find it. I understand that it's already, you've been doing this for more than a year, and it's almost 70 episodes strong.
It's pretty crazy, doing this for 70 episodes in a year. I mean, like I feel like I reached the apex. I feel like of my podcast. I thought I would not make it to even 70 or even past a year, But
what made you start doing this?
Well, it's a funny backstory. And I'll try to keep it short. So I do another podcast called Adventure Time Guys, and I've been doing that one for 4 years. And I do it with another friend I have who lives in Ohio. His name is Cameron, and we were interviewing people on that show every once in a while, not all the time like I do on this podcast, but we used to do that every once in a while. And so I when we started doing that, I thought it'd be a smart idea to start up like a radio station on this website called radio.co. And I started that up, and Cyber Timebite was supposed to be one of the shows on that lineup, and it ended up not working, and so I closed the station down, and I brought Cyber Timebite back up, and I made it into the podcast that it is today.
Wonderful. And so, what gets discussed on Cyber Timebite?
So it's a weekly. It comes out every Wednesday, and I interview someone of things I'm interested in.
And what are the things that I understand you have a pretty very interesting, like you love babies and dragons, or baby dragons?
No. That's just the description because I was just trying to be funny.
Oh, okay. I thought that was real. I was like, he loves babies and dragons. So what do you love, Stephen? What are you talking about on this show?
So so in reality on the podcast,
yes,
I have like cosplayers on my show, which is like people dress up as characters and go to these conventions, which I like doing, and I bring people from those. I bring them on the podcast, and I bring them on to talk to them about how they started and why they love it and everything under that sort of umbrella right there. And since I'm a huge wrestling fan, I sometimes have wrestlers on there or fans of wrestling on there, and basically everyone who is basically in the same kind of fandoms I am, and they just extreme it up to extreme levels, and I just bring them on and I let them talk about it and let them express themselves. And I try to be that open book of information. You know what I mean?
I do. What I think is incredible, because I know a little bit about how much it takes, how much energy it takes to pump out a weekly show. It takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of perseverance and getting a guest and having them agree to be on it. I mean, it takes a lot of organization. You got to be motivated to do this. I've had lots of friends who have said, oh, we've had shows here on Autism Live where we've given time to organizations, and they say the same thing. This is a lot of work to put this together, to put an hour together. So how are you getting your guests? Is it just you working on this, or do you have help?
It's actually, most of the time, it's just me. It's just me and my own that are getting everyone, because it's sometimes deep digging. I mean, I sometimes gotta go for Twitter, I gotta go for Facebook, I gotta go through email. I just gotta go through like all these sort of resources sometimes, and sometimes even dig deeper than a regular resource, like other things I've never even heard of to get some people, and it just sometimes takes forever. But but eventually I get them and I bring them on the podcast, and and like I said, it's mainly just me. I don't really have like a guy who.
Right. You're doing the work.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And we should say that this podcast is available. It's Cyber Timebite. It's available on Apple Podcasts and it's listed under comedy. So if you're looking for everybody knows iTunes is splitting up, but the podcasts are staying with the podcast. So look under the category of comedy, and you can find Cyber Timebite there. Now, is it a free download?
Yes, it's you can find it on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, anything, pretty much anywhere where you can get your grubby podcast hands on.
And we need you to consult because I don't know what a lot of those things are. So maybe our podcast needs to be on all of those. But so is this your main job, Stephen, or do you do other things as well?
Man, I wish it was my main job. But
well, maybe it can be. Well,
that'd be really cool.
Well, but that's a whole other, set of work in finding sponsors or a sponsor, or, I mean, there are podcast people who make that work and make that happen. But that's a whole lot of other work that's aside from getting the guests. So it's hard. It's really, really hard. But do you work outside of doing this?
Yeah, I actually work at a grocery store in my local area, and I do I bag people's groceries and I bring in the carts. That's all I really do. I mean, that's my like my job that I actually do.
That's an important job. The wheels at the store don't work if those things don't happen. But I hope that as you grow this podcast and show people your consistency, that maybe you will be able to get sponsors, and someday you'll be telling me this is your sole job, and I'll be asking you how to do it. So again, it's called Cyber Timebite, and it's listed under comedy on Apple Podcasts. And is there a place where do you have a website for the podcast as well?
Yeah, the main resource where people can find me is that you can find me on Facebook at Cyber Timebite. Follow me on Twitter at NostalgiaVamp, which is my personal Twitter. And then I also have merchandise. I have shirts and mugs and whatever.
You got merch. You've got merch. Podcast. We need merch, Traven. We need merch. Okay, so that's wonderful.
If you want to get that, it's on redbubble.com.
What is that again? What.com?
Redbubble.com.
Redbubble.com. Okay. So we can get the Cyber Timebite merch there. That's just awesome. See, you're giving me all kinds of ideas. So people should tune in. Who's your guest next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday? Let's see.
I'm putting you. How about who was your guest yesterday?
Oh, my guest. Well, my recent upload was Mike Freeland from the Front Row Material podcast. He's a wrestling podcast, and he was my latest upload as of right now.
So if there are wrestling fans, they should go to Apple Podcasts, download it, and listen to your conversation with him. It's available now.
Yeah, it can be wrestling fans, anyone. I mean, like, my podcast is open to pretty much anyone. I mean, like, I'm not trying to center myself, down a single path. I mean, like, anyone can listen.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Stephen, I wish you nothing but the best. Please keep us posted on how it goes, and good luck. And hopefully we've let some other people know about your podcast.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.